Good morning and welcome to our town at Kama Coffee. This morning we're going to be talking with Shelly Aldean, who is going to be talking about Tahoe Regional Planning Agency issues going on and a little bit about commercial real estate. But right now we need to take a break for our word from our sponsor.
I'm here.
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 As a matter of fact, at Carson Tahoe, we have over 1,100 healthcare professionals, and they're all here for one reason.
Your health.
Carson Tahoe Regional Healthcare. Here's to your health.
Okay, and we're back with Shelly Aldean. And now a lot of people don't know you sit on the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency Board of Governors.
I do.
And which can get to be very interesting, especially for all the Tahoe-related issues. I guess there's also people who don't realize that there's a big chunk of Carson City sitting on Lake Tahoe. At least people who've just moved here and don't realize that that whole section right there is actually part of the city.
That's true. There are signs as you know as you move along Highway 28. They say Carson City rural area. Yeah. The interesting thing is we only have about 3 private property owners. However, in our portion of the basin, most of it is owned by the Forest Service. So it's within our jurisdictional boundary, but we don't have a lot of constituents at Lake Tahoe. But Lake Tahoe is an important recreational asset to Carson City, and so. That's one of the reasons why Carson City has a seat on the TRPA governing board pursuant to the compact requirements. And yes, it's a very busy time. TRPA has always been kind of a controversial agency, kind of the agency that everybody loves to hate. But one of the things that I am proud of is the agency has become more moderate in recent years. And by that I mean, initially it was a long-range planning agency, and then it became more and more involved in all aspects of life in the Tahoe Basin. But it's come to realize that it's not just about regulating uses, land uses in the Tahoe Basin. It's about preserving the social fabric. It's about helping to energize the economy, because we just talked in the recent segment about the budget situation, and that applies to all agencies, both local, state, and federal. And so, as an agency, we're not anticipating the same level of support for operations that we've enjoyed in the past. And so, the only way that we can accomplish our environmental objectives is to partner with the private sector. And so that's what the agency is doing, forming partnerships, and I think that's very progressive.
Okay, and then the agency's been working on this long-range plan for a long time.
Well, we are mandated to update our regional plan every 20 years, and we started a process when I first joined the board called Pathway 2007. The plan was supposed to have been the updated plan adopted in 2007. Here we are in March of, or in 2010. And we still don't have an adopted regional plan, but we have accelerated things, so we're hopeful by the end of this year we will have an updated plan.
Yeah. And now, how's that plan going to affect somebody living at the lake or visiting the lake? What's the most visible thing that's sticks out?
I'm not sure that to the average visitor or homeowner there'll be a noticeable change. I mean, what we're looking at is amending the plan to incorporate things like TMDL, which is the total maximum daily loading. It has been determined that the loss of clarity at Lake Tahoe, which is one of its biggest assets, is related to fine sediment. And so now the shift is to focusing on reducing the amount of fine sediment that enters Lake Tahoe in order to preserve its clarity. So, we're working on a lot of EIP projects, which are environmental improvement projects. And so, as I say, it won't be noticeable to most people. Okay.
Well, thanks. We're going to take a little break from a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
What's the role of a healthcare system? Is it to make you better when you're sick? To mend you when you're injured? Are you ready to live healthier? Start today at herestoyourhealth.net, a free service of Carson Tahoe Regional Healthcare.
And we're back, and we were talking a little bit about TRPA and how that affects homeowners. I mean, that's the homeowners up there. There was some group on the lakeshore homeowners that had a lawsuit or whatever going on, but you're saying that it's kind of some of the old regulation regimen that you had is kind of maybe loosening up a little bit, or just refocusing?
Well, I think we're just refocusing. We've come to realize that, John Singlob, who was the previous executive director, coined the phrase triple bottom line. And that, as I mentioned earlier in the conversation, has to do with protecting not only the environment, but the economy and the social fabric of our communities. Because we've been losing population, full-time residents at Lake Tahoe, and that doesn't bode well for the health of the economy.
And, you know, and the visitor count, you know, I mean, I guess the visitor count's probably down a little bit from that, but it's still, you know, there's still a lot of impact.
And I think Tahoe is still, the last time I checked, is still the #1 tourist destination in the country. So there's still lots of people visiting Lake Tahoe. It's obviously in close proximity to some very heavily populated areas like the Bay Area and Los Angeles. And
they love it to death.
They do. But on the other hand, they also own it. As tax-paying members of the country, you know, it is their resource, and so we have to find a way to accommodate their needs while protecting the resource.
Right. And now, also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the prospects for commercial real estate, because your company that has commercial real estate here, and we all know that that's kind of been a real sore part in our economy. So, tell us what's going on.
Well, I wish I could say, Kirk, that a lot was going on and that we were inking leases, you know, every day. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It's very definitely a tenant's market. There's a lot of vacant space out there. A lot of landlords who are desperate, you know, to negotiate deals, and so it's very competitive. So, you know, I am hopeful that it will rebound. The problem is we've lost a lot of retailers, obviously, in the last 24 months, and so you have fewer to choose from. And so it makes it a little more challenging to encourage, you know, to find retailers who are actually in expansion mode.
Right.
And, you know, some landlords are, gosh, they're giving, you know, 6 months free rent and being extremely liberal with their terms, and so you just have to kind of match, you know, be in lockstep with everybody else in the industry to compete.
All right, so if you're starting a business or you're wanting to move to a new place, this is a good time.
This is a good time, and actually many people who have lost their jobs, if they had some saved capital, you know, are doing precisely that. They're opening their own businesses.
Because if you don't got a job, you got to create it, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
You bet.
And then you had a property, recently went through a remodeling property down there to try to spruce things up. And
well, the shopping center was built in the early 1990s, and you know, shopping centers typically have to reinvent themselves every 10 years or so, and it was the architecture was a little dated, and with the building of Burlington, we decided it was probably a good time to spruce up the shopping center, so yes, we did. We went through a major remodel.
All right, so now, is it Cole's supposed to move in nearby where the Mervyn's is, right? The old Mervyn's,
just north of Eagle Station Lane, and they're working in there as we speak. So I'm assuming, like most retailers, they want to be open before the holidays to take advantage of what we hope will be a Christmas rush.
Well, we need a little Christmas rush, maybe in April.
That's exactly right, beginning right now.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on and talking to us.
You bet, anytime.
And thank you for tuning in to Our Town at Comma Coffee.
When you walk into a Charlie's Grilled Subs, you walk back in time when subs were made from scratch with premium meats, real dairy cheese, delicious breads, and very fresh vegetables. At Charlie's, what you see is what you get. Grilled live, right in front of you. Nothing pre-cooked or pre-assembled. It's just all good.
It's delicious.
So when you want a fresh, healthy blast from the past, visit Charlie's at the east entrance to the Carson Mall. Your tummy will thank you.